The first generation? They died in the wilderness. Why'd they die in the wilderness? Unbelief. Okay. All right. So they died in the wilderness, and then Moses gives the law to the second generation, and then he dies, and who takes over?
Joshua.
Good. Joshua. You knew that, didn't you? I didn't have to point. Okay. And Joshua led them across the Jordan River, and they had a central campaign, a southern campaign, a northern campaign, and divided the land. Okay? Now, you don't have to write all that. You're just listening. Okay? This is not for you to take notes. You're just listening. Okay, and then it was not a real complete conquest, and it resulted in a national crisis. And that crisis lasted the next 299 years, and it was the period of what? The Judges. And so the book of Judges, there's a beautiful love story in the book of that happens at the time of the Judges. It's the book of Ruth. Okay. Then the last of the Judges and the first of the prophets was, okay, the last of the Judges and the first of the prophets was, okay, Samuel. That's very good. Now Samuel was the last of the Judges. He's the first of the prophets. And when he was when he was getting older, then Israel asked for a king, and it grieved him, but God said, go ahead and appoint him, and then God picked out the first kings. Okay? Who was the first king? Saul. And that is in 1 Samuel, King Saul. And then the second king succeeded him, which was King David, and you'll read about King David in 2 Samuel and in 1 Chronicles. David wrote about half the Psalms, so we have the Psalms out here pointing back to 1 and 2 Samuel. He wrote some during Saul's reign, and he wrote some during his own reign. And there we go. All right, then the next king was David's son Solomon, and you'll read about him in the first 11 chapters of 1 Kings, the first 9 chapters of 1 Chronicles. You can read about him. And he died in what year? 931 BC. He died in what year?
931 BC.
Oh, yeah, that's great. Everybody's getting that, aren't you? Yeah, because he died in 931 BC, didn't he? Okay. Now, he died then, and when he died, his son Rehoboam took the throne. He said, I'm going to raise taxes. And the people said, no, no. And so the north, the 10 tribes of the north, seceded from the Union. Kind of backwards from us, isn't it? And so they seceded from the Union. They retained the name of Israel. They were all called Israel before the split, and now the north retains the name of Israel because they got 10 tribes, and the south has the name of Judah. But from 931, we split our chart. So we split it right here, and now we're tracking 2 different lines that go down through it. Okay, then you can read about that split, and you can read about that in 1 Kings or 2 Chronicles 1 through 9 is that story. Okay, moving along. Solomon wrote 3 books. What were they? Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, Song of Solomon. He wrote 3 books, and we've got them on here. Then, we're going to move up on the chart. The north lasts until what year? And they go to captivity to where? Assyria. Okay. And capital of Assyria was Nineveh. All right, good. The south lasts longer till we put it at 586. When we get to that time period, we'll break it down and show you the 3 captivities and the 3 returns. But for our chart, we're going to put it at 586. And so they last till 586, go to captivity to where? Babylon. And give me the name of one person that was taken. Daniel. I thought somebody was going to say Shadrach. Didn't. Okay, then after 70 years of captivity, they return. And they return and rebuild the city. They rebuilt the temple. Ezra has a lot to do with that. And the first return actually is under Zerubbabel. And he took the rubble and made a temple. And then Ezra has some things to do with it. It took him a long time to build that. And between chapter 6 and 7 of Ezra is the book of Esther, between chapters 6 and 7. Nehemiah is here also. Now, when you get to that, you've finished all the yellow books, which are the historical books here. Now, we got to fill the rest in. Okay. Let's do the last three because they're easy to do. And the post-exilic prophets are the last three books of the Old Testament. So that's easy enough, isn't it? And that would be Haggai, Zechariah, Malachi. That's great. And just look, if you don't remember what those are, just look in the back of your Old Testament, you'll find them. All right, that's easy enough. And then the exilic prophets, of course, to Babylon, are because you're either dead, or you're exiled, or you're left behind, right? And the D stands for Daniel, and E, Ezekiel, and L, Lamentations. Lamentations probably written by Jeremiah right at 586. He's lamenting the destruction of Jerusalem. All right. Then let's pick up the pre-exilic prophets to the north. And now Jonah was sent to where? Nineveh. Nineveh was capital of Assyria, wasn't it? That's why he didn't want to go. They were public enemies. I mean, they were enemies. You're going to kill them, Lord? Oh, good. You said go west? Or go east? I'm heading west. Okay. I think of Jonah, I think of Jaws. J-A-H. J-A-H. Jonah, Amos, Hosea. Jonah, Amos, Hosea. Jonah was a rebuke to the north for their lousy attitude. Jonah is a rebuke on the north because they don't care if the Ninevites go to hell or not. It's a rebuke to the northern kingdom. The attitude of all the people of the north would have been, hey, you want to destroy them? Go ahead and destroy them. Hosea is talking about the unfaithfulness of Israel, and Amos was a sheep herder from Tekoa. Anyway, we won't get too bogged down with that. To the south, it's, oh, I am in hurts. JJ, Jerusalem and Judah. Okay, and that stands for O is what? Obadiah. Okay, I stands for Isaiah. M, Micah. N is Nahum. H is Habakkuk. Z, Zephaniah. And JJ, Joel and Jeremiah. Okay, what is it? Oh, I am in hurts, JJ. Okay, can you remember that? Somebody else had a better one. Somebody else. What was the one you had, Dallas?
Oh, I am not here, ZJJ.
Yeah. Oh, I am not here, ZJJ.
What's Amos up there for? You got a mistake.
Well, there he is. Oh, I am. That's supposed to be Micah, not Amos. Amos, what are you doing in there? These computers, you can never depend on them. Well, we corrected him. There he is. He's back to the right spot now. Boy, you caught on. That's good. Okay, lesson 4 tonight, and what we're looking at is we're going to be looking at the Historical Bible Period 2. And remember that Historical Bible Period 1 was about 4 events. What were those 4 events that we looked at? Historical Bible Period 1 was about 4 events, and it was creation, fall, flood, Babel. Say them again. Creation, fall, flood, Babel. But the second part of the book of Genesis is about 4 people. And they are Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Joseph. So guess what? That's where we are tonight. We're with 4 people tonight. And the dates for this particular time are 2165, birth of Abraham, to 1446, the date that we're using for the Exodus. So this will be the birth of Abraham and to the Exodus, a period of, well, not that, but that's not the 430. Scratch that. From 2165 to 1446 is the outside limits, and it's not a period of 430 years. you will get 430